Good morning, class. So today we will be learning the rate analysis of various items of works. So in the previous class, we have studied the rate analysis of excavation, right? Excavation for earthwork, and then for plinth filling, all those things we have covered. So today we will start with this cement concrete. Okay, cement concrete. Now, in the previous things, we see that there were not many materials that were that we were concerned with. Only excavation, we had no materials. But in plinth filling, we had seen that we require sand. So we had considered that sand. But now, in cement concrete, we have different materials, right? We have cement, we have what? We have cement, we have sand, that is fine aggregate, we have coarse aggregate, right? And various other materials, any admixture if you want, we can also consider that. But for calculation of materials now, we have assumed, right? We have assumed that we will assume 10 cubic meter of concrete, that we the quantity of concrete that we require for analysis, we have considered that as 10 cubic meters. Okay, 10 cubic meters we have considered. So moving on. So this is the wet concrete. Okay, wet concrete. 10 cubic meters of wet concrete. We are assuming that we require 10 cubic meter of wet concrete. So what is the dry constituents that are required? So you cannot take 10 cubic meter of dry constituents and mix and form 10 cubic meter. Okay. So what happens is you have to take some extra quantity in dry volume, so that after it shrinks and all, we are left out with 10 cubic meter of concrete. Okay, so the extra thing that we have to take is 54% is the general thumb rule that we have to adopt. So 54% of extra dry volume you have to consider, okay, whenever you are calculating the dry materials. Okay, when you are calculating the dry materials. Suppose now, if you want to calculate calculate 1 meter cube, for 1 meter cube, the dry constituent that you have to take is 1.54 meter cube you have to take in dry materials, so that after you mix it with these particular things with water, you have left out with 1 meter cube of wet concrete. Okay, so 54% what we have done, we have taken extra. So 1.54 is the factor of safety, you can say. 1.54 is the factor of safety, or factor which you have to multiply to get the quantity of dry volume. Okay, so keep this in mind, this is important. Now, for 1 meter cube, it is 1.54. For 10 meter cube, it will be how much? 10 meter cube, 10 meter cube. 10 meter cube of wet concrete. What is the quantity of dry material that you have to take? Can you tell me now? For 1, it is 1.5.
15.4.
Correct. For 10, it will be 15.4 meter cube, or the dry constituents or the dry volume which you have to take to form 10 meter cube of wet concrete. Okay, so this is the basic thing which I have explained, which we will be requiring. Hence, everywhere we will take 15.4. You can see here 15.4 is considered. 15.4 is what? The dry volume. Okay. Now, we have considered here for an example 1:2:4 proportion we have considered. What we have considered? We have considered 1:2:4. Then summation of this proportion, 1 plus 2 plus 4, right? 1 plus 2 plus 4. You take it is 7. Now, how do you calculate the quantity of cement? Quantity of cement in cubic meters, right? They have given us the proportion. They have not given us the proportion in meter cube. We have to calculate in meter cube. So this is what? 1 is what? 1 is the proportion of cement. 2 is the proportion of what? Fine aggregate. 4 is the proportion of coarse aggregate. So cement is one part among 7 parts, right? 7 is the total. 1 part is cement. So 1. What is the total quantity that we have taken? 15.4. Correct. So 1 part is cement among the total, and 15.4 is the total volume. So what is this particular equal to? Can you tell me? Can you calculate and tell me what is the value of this? Keep a calculator with you. Quickly we will solve.
2.2.
Correct. 2.2. So whenever they give you this kind of problem, what you do, you take the summation of the proportion and divide 15.4 by the summation, right? Therefore, cement, you can see the quantity 15.4 divided by the summation of the proportion. If you do, you will get cement quantity, that is 2.2. Okay. Now, what is sand quantity? Sand quantity, it is 2 times, right? 2 times. 1 is cement, 2 times is sand, and 4 times is coarse aggregate. So 2.2 into 2, because here the proportion of sand is 2. If it is 3, you can take 3. Okay. And 2.2 into 4 is the proportion of coarse aggregate. This is for fine aggregate or sand, and this is for coarse aggregate. Okay, so these particular values are written over here. You can see 2.2 into 2 is 4.4 for sand, and 2.2 into 4 is 8.8. Okay. Now, usually what cement? Yes.
Sir, Jyoti request kasa sir.
Okay. Manju is there. I don't see Jyoti. Okay, no problem. I have admitted them. Next. Cement, we know cement we usually order in bags, no? Cement we order in bags. What is the weight of one bag? Weight of one bag estiruttappa cement ಅಲ್ಲಿ? Cement how much is there in one bag of cement? How much kgs of cement is there?
50.
50. Okay, 50 kg of cement is there in one bag. Now we want 2.2 kilos. We want 2.2 cubic meters. Sorry, we want 2.2 cubic meters. Now, how many bags we need to order? We have to calculate. We have to calculate how many bags of cement we require for 2.2 cubic meter of cement. We have to convert what? We have to convert now kg to cubic meter or meter cube. We have to convert kg to meter cube. How can we do this conversion now? Kg to meter cube, how can we convert? Because 2.2 we have to divide by some value, then we will get in bags. So for this we need to divide. This is in meter cube, hence we have to divide per meter cube of bag. What is the per meter cube of cement that is available in one bag? In one bag of cement, what is the meter cube? So one bag we know has 50 kgs. So what is that in meter cube? 50 kg of cement, convert it to meter cube. What I have to do? Can you tell me what you have to do for that now? How can we get this particular term in getting meter cube? How can we convert mass to volume? How can we convert mass to volume? This is mass, right? This is kg, and this is volume, meter cube. Any idea?
Sir, 1 meter cube equal to 1000 kg.
1 meter cube is equals to
1000 kg.
1000 kg. How have you arrived at this 1000 kg? What of 1000 kgs you are telling me? This is a water in 1 meter cube. In 1 meter cube of volume, right? 1 meter cube, I have shown you an image. 1 meter cube is how much? In that meter cube or in that volume, you can contain 1000 kgs of water. Correct? What you are telling me is in 1 meter cube of volume, you can store 1000 kgs of water. 1000 kgs of water. That is nothing but a water tank. You can say of 1 meter cube, we can store 1000 kgs, or we can you can say that we can store 1000 liters, right? 1000 liters. Correct? Let us not get into that. So this is what 1000 is what? 1000 is what? 1000 is what? It is nothing but density of water. Density of water, correct? Density of water. So similarly, you can use density of concrete and you can arrive at this answer. What is the density of concrete now? Density of concrete, basic things that you have to know, Baba. You have engineers which you are going to pass out.
Sir, 24, sir.
24 is the kilonewton per meter cube of concrete. Concrete. That is in kilonewton per meter cube. 24. Although that is not the answer. Yeah, I want the density of cement. Remember, the density of water you can remember very easy, right? You always remember the density of water, right? It is 1000. Okay. Now cement, we know it is usually heavier than water, right? Heavier than water. Cement is denser than water. So it will be some larger value than 1000. So it is 1440 is the density of cement, kg per meter cube. Okay, kg per meter cube. Now, can you calculate in meter cube for one bag? For one bag, can you convert? I have told you the answer. Now, can you tell me how can you calculate? 1440 is the density of cement. We want in meter cube, Baba. We want in meter cube. So if we divide this particular thing by kg per meter cube, by some kg per meter cube, we will what, this kg and kg will cancel and this meter cube will go on the top, correct? So we can divide by this particular term. What is this? This is nothing but density of cement, 1440. So divide and tell me what is the answer. What is the answer? 50 by
0.034.
0.0347. Okay, consider 7 also. You can consider 4 decimal points after the 4 numbers after the decimal point. So this is what in meter cube. Volume of cement in one bag of cement, volume of cement in meter cube that is contained in a single bag of cement. Okay, so we know it, the value. Now what we can do is we can use this particular number. ಏನ್ರಿ admit ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕ್ರಿ. Okay, now we know the quantity of cement that is required is 2.2 in meter cube. Now how many bags are required? We need to calculate. We need to calculate the bags that are required. So what you have to do, divide this by volume of one bag. Volume of one bag we have calculated, right? 0.0347. Now tell me the answer. What is this answer? How many bags are required? Can you tell me now? Tell me in round figures, because we cannot buy point bags, 0.2, 0.3 bags we cannot order. Tell me in round numbers.
63.4.
0.4 battery, ಅದನ್ನು round off ಮಾಡಿ ಹೇಳಿ.
64 bags, sir.
64. Okay. 64 number of bags are required for preparation of or for 2.2 meter cube of cement. Okay, we have to order 64 number of bags. Okay, clear? This point is clear. How we can calculate the quantity of cement that you have to order in bags. Okay, so you can see that is what they have done over here. So for your reference, I have written the cement density in kg per meter cube, and also I have shown you how to arrive at this particular number. Don't get confused where this number has come from. Okay, I have told you how this number has we have arrived at this particular number. Okay, 50 kg is for one bag, and in we have converted this kg to meter cube, and this meter cube we have used for the calculation of bags. Now after this is done, we have to calculate what? We have to calculate all the other remaining things. We have calculated the quantity of cement. Now for the remaining quantities, let us see what we have to do. So for cement, I have explained to you. Now where the various proportions I have written down. So what is this? What is the grade of this particular proportions? Can you tell me grade of this particular proportions? Grade of concrete, which are you can see on your screen. The first thing, or you can you identify which is M20, which is M20 among this? Can you identify M20 among these?
Second one.
What is the proportion of that?
1:1.5:3.
Okay, correct. This is M20. Okay, and then which is M25? This is M25, or this is M25, higher or lower? M25. This one is M25, or this one is M25? M25 will be higher strength, right? Higher strength. Hence, we will be requiring more amount of cement. Hence, this is M25, because here you can see we have more cement. Correct? Correct, Allah? Am I telling you the correct answer?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Similarly, here you can see we have lesser amount of cement, right? And more amount of fine aggregate and coarse aggregate. Hence, this will be what? M15. Similarly, you can go, this is M10. Then after M10, what is this? Is this M5? Is this M5? This is not M5. This is M7.5. And this is what? M5. Yeah, so remember these proportions and they are particular grades. This is very important for you insight. Okay, not for this subject I'm telling, for you as a civil engineer, you have to know these particular grades. Okay, remember any one of the grade which you are able to keep in mind. Anyone you can remember like this 1, 2, 4 you can remember for M15. right? And other things you can write down easily, right? M20, M25, you can go further, you can go, no problem. So this is regarding proportion, and what we have done here is we have prepared a table for easier calculation we have prepared, but this is not required in exam. In exam, any one proportion they will give, and you have to calculate cement, sand, and coarse aggregate quantities. For example, here let us take 1:2:4. Here the total summation is what, equal to 7. Summation of this proportion is equal to cement 7. As I have told you, for cement quantity, what you have to do, 15.4 divided by 7. What is the summation? 7. So you have to divide by 7. We will get 2.2 meter cube of cement. Convert that to bags by dividing it by 0.0347. You can get in bags. And for sand, what you have to do, multiply this cement quantity by the ratio, that is 2, that you will get here 4.4. And similarly 2.2 into 4, that is the proportion of coarse aggregate. If you multiply, you will get the volume of coarse aggregate that is required. Okay, so this particular thing you have to follow, and you have to calculate cement, sand, and coarse aggregate quantities. So is this particular table clear how you can calculate? Is it clear, guys? Yes. Can anyone reply and let me
Yes,
know?
sir.
Okay. Now cement concrete bedding 1:4:8. Okay, 1:4:8. What is the summation of this particular proportion? Summation, can you tell me? 4 plus 8 plus
13.
13. Okay. Hence, what I have to do for cement quantity, it is 15.4 by 13. Okay, you will get some quantity in meter cube, that is the quantity of cement in meter cube. Okay, this particular value multiply by the proportion of sand, that is 4. You will get the quantity in meter cube for what? For sand. Similarly, this particular number, multiply that by the proportion of coarse aggregate, that is 8. You will get in meter cube the answer for coarse aggregate. Okay. And I've told you this particular meter cube divided by the number, that is 0.0347 to get in bags, right? So let us check for 1:4:8. This is your proportion, right? As I've told you, 15.4 divided by 3 is 1.2. Okay, divide this 1.2 by 0.0347, you will get in bags. Okay, 1.2 into 4, you will get for sand. 1.2 into 8, you will get for what? Coarse aggregate. Okay, so these values I have written over here. All these values we have written over here. Okay. Remember, for cement, don't write in meter cube. Write it in terms of bags. Okay, for cement, write it in terms of bags. Remaining you can write in meter cube. Okay, and the rate per bag you write over here. Right, it is usually now around 420, 450 per bag. Write that value here, and then multiply quantity by the rate. You will get the amount. Okay. These particular things I have explained. The same thing, head mason, mason, labor, all these labors you can write down. Their per day wages you can write down, and you can calculate their amount. No problem. Then don't forget to add contingencies, because when you are dealing with concrete work, we have to add some tools and plants which are required, right? T and P, and some contingencies you have to take into account. So we will take it as lump sum of 300. You can take any amount over here. Take it in this range, okay? 300 range you can take, 400, 500 you can also go, no problem. Then add water charges 1%, take profit and overhead as 10%, and you can write down the grand total. Now we have taken we had taken 10 meter cube. We had assumed, right, 10 meter cube. So divide the total amount by 10 to get the rate in what? Per cubic meter. So this rate is what? It is in per meter cube. Rupees 3,536 is the amount that you will be requiring for per meter cube of what? Cement concrete bedding of ratio 1:4:8. So this is how you have to analyze for cement concrete. So next, we have similar cases we have to follow for other things, right? PCC bed is there, which is similar. You can calculate, just the ratio here is changed. Ratio is 1:3:6. The same procedure you can follow and you can calculate. Next, here we are dealing now with RCC. Okay, we are dealing with RCC of ratio 1:2:4. Okay. Now excluding shuttering and reinforcement, you have to not exclude we have to exclude what? Exclude shuttering and reinforcement. No problem. Then for 1:2:4, we know we have calculated for this particular ratio, we know what is the quantity of materials that is required, right? Cement, sand, and coarse aggregate. This we have already done. The same procedure you can follow, and you can write down this particular thing. Okay. So materials is done. Labor, I have told you how to calculate labor, right? Labor also you can write down, right? We require one head mason. We require one mason, right? 3 number of masons are required. 23 number of mazdurs are required, and mix operator, right? Because mixer operator is also required for the concrete mixer. And we require what? We require to hire one concrete mixer. Depending upon the volume of work, right? For 10 cubic meter of work, we require 0.7 day, right? Not for the whole day or not for 2 to 3 days. We require just for half of a day, right? More than half a day, right? 0.7 day we require. And for the same number, we require a mixer, right? We also require an operator for the same number. Okay. We require for the same number also, we require a vibrator, correct? 0.7 day we require a vibrator, and we are taking a needle type of vibrator over here. Okay, needle type of vibrator, and the cost of the needle vibrator you can write down in per day. Okay, in per day we have written all these values. Then we have to what we have to do, we require some scaffolding, right? For working at a higher elevation, we require scaffolding. That in lump sum we have taken as 200, because we do not require much scaffolding work for this particular RCC work. Then sundries I have told you, it is some minor quantities which you have to take into account, which are non-standard. So in sundries we have taken 50 rupees. So this is very minor. Don't worry if you take if you miss out also this particular value. It is a very minor value, just 50 rupees we have considered. So if you remember, you can write down sundries as 50, then calculate the total, add water charges, add profit, and write down the grand total. So after this grand total is calculated, do not forget to divide by the total quantity which we had assumed. Divide by 10, right? Divide by 10, that you have to do, and write down in cubic per cubic meter. You have to write down, right? This is per meter cube, rate per meter cube. Okay. Similarly, for this particular RCC work also you can calculate. The only change here is, here this proportion is changing. This is for which, this is M20, right? This is M20, I think. Okay. Moving on, same thing, the same procedure you can follow for calculation of materials, for labors, and this particular extra things, right? Tools and plants which are required. Okay. Next, moving on, we will look into this ready mix concrete later on. This ready mix concrete we will look into later on. Same thing, it is there, but only changes here. We are ordering it, right? It is a ready mix concrete which we are ordering. So we'll look into this particular thing later on. Okay. Now the important thing here is steel reinforcement. Steel, how do we calculate and analyze the rate for the steel reinforcement? Okay. The 12th case which we are studying here is for TMT bars, or thermomechanically treated bars, which we normally call as TMT bars, right? Which we use in the site. TMT bars, steel reinforcement for RCC work, including straightening, cutting, bending, placing, and in position and binding. So all these works are included in this particular rate. Okay. For steel, we have to assume 100 kgs for steel. For concrete, as we assume 10 meter cube. For steel, we have to assume in kgs, not in meter cube, not in any other volumetric measurement. We have to order this particular thing in mass. Okay, in kgs we have to order. So 100 kgs or 1 quintal, right? 1 quintal is equal to 100 kgs. Okay. So what you have to do in material, we know we have to take steel, right? We have to take steel of 1 quintal, right? What you have to do, we have to add 5% wastage. Add 5% wastage to 1 quintal. So in quintals, it will be 1.05. Okay, 1.05 after adding wastages of 5%. Okay, the rate per quintal of steel, it is 4,900. Is it the same rate, market rate, that is currently running in our city? Can anyone verify? Is it the same rate for steel which is there in market currently in our city? Yes, 4,900, or is it lesser, or is it higher? ಏನಿದೆ ಸದ್ಯ market rate for steel? Any idea? Anyone? No idea. It is in the same range. Okay, it is in the same range. It depends. It depends upon
6,800, sir.
6,800 for which diameter bar pa and which grade? Right, as I've told you, it depends on the diameter of the bar. It depends upon on the quality, right? On the quality of bar, which grade you are buying, and also depends on which company you are buying from. Okay. Then this particular quintal into rate, if you do, you will get the amount. Quintal into rate, right? Quantity into rate, you will get the amount. No problem. Then for this particular steel reinforcement, we require some binding wire, right? We require some binding wire. So we will take it as 1 kg per quintal. We will order 1 kg of binding wire. So 53 rupees per kg is the rate, and cover blocks are required, right? Cover blocks are required so that appropriate cover is maintained. So cover blocks we will order in lump sum, right? We will order in lump sum. We will take the amount as 50 rupees, and here it is 53. No problem. Then labor. Regarding labor, what you have to do for straightening the buyer, for the straightening of the steel reinforcement, right? Steel reinforcement, you have seen inside, it is usually in U form, right? Long steel wires are bent at center and they are brought to the side. So straightening of these bars are required. Cutting as per their length, bending, right? Cutting and bending as per the schedule, and placing them in position. Okay, placing and then binding it with binding wires. Okay, all these things are required. So for these we need a blacksmith, right? First class blacksmith is required, and also a helper is required. Okay, for per quintal we require 1 blacksmith and 1 helper. So keep this in mind, 1 blacksmith and 1 helper per quintal. Okay, tools and plants, lump sum quantity we will take as 200. No plants are required, only some tools are required. So you can take a 200 rupees as lump sum quantity that is required for tools. Okay, they are labor wages. You can take wages per day, you can take multiply by the number, by their wages, you can get the amount. Okay, the total amount we have got, the grand total divided by 100, because 100 is what we had assumed, right? 100 kgs. So 69 rupees per kg is the rate of what? Rate of steel reinforcement work. Steel reinforcement work. Okay, for what? 1 quintal. Okay, 1 quintal, sorry, not for 1 quintal, per kg. Per kg we calculate it for 1 quintal, right? That is for 100 kgs we calculate, and then divide by 100 to get the rate per kg. Okay, so this is regarding steel. This is regarding steel. Have you understood regarding steel? After we are done with steel, we have to go into centering and formwork. So before that, let me know if you have understood whatever we have discussed regarding concrete and steel. Is it clear, guys? You can raise your hand. You can let me know by raising your hand that you have understood. Okay, Lakshman has answered 1440 kgs in chat. I have not observed. So correct, the density of cement is 144 kgs. Your answer is correct. Okay, let me check who all have understood. You can raise your hand and let me know whether you have understood. Mayur, Aishwarya, Jyoti, Aishwarya, only 5-6 of them have understood out of all of you. Please raise your hand and let me know if you have understood, so that I can have I can understand what is the current situation, who all are active and who all are not. Okay, thank you. We can lower our hand. You can lower our hand. So the next important thing we have to analyze the rate for is centering and formwork. Okay, centering and formwork. Okay, so usually, centering and formwork, the material that we use for centering and formwork is what? We usually use timber, right? We use timber or we use steel, right? We use steel or we use timber. We have two materials. We have timber or we have steel. So there is some life for this timber and for steel, right? We can reuse these particular materials, right? We can reuse these materials, unlike in concrete and your steel reinforcement, which is once it is placed, it cannot be reused. But these particular materials can be reused many times. Okay, So what is the reuse number or reuse value of this thing? So for timber formwork or timber centering can be used 16 number of times. Okay, 16 number of times your timber can be reused, and 40 number of times steel can be reused. Okay, steel formwork can be reused. Okay, so this is the general number which you have to remember. Okay, 16 is for timber and 40 is for steel. Okay, these numbers you have to remember, very important, because we know that timber, right, wood is not very durable. It can only be reused for 16 number of times. Steel, we know it is very durable, hence it can be reused for 40 number of times. Okay, so next thing, the quantity of materials including wastage. Okay, including wastage, quantity of materials that is required for formwork and centering. We require timber and we require steel, right? We have to calculate that particular quantity. We have to calculate the quantity of timber and the steel material that is required. We have to calculate. So we have to include the wastages also while we're calculating. For 10 square meter for timber formwork in different situations are given below. Okay, and the first or single reuse. So these particular values which are given in this table are for first use. Okay, for first use, or for single use. Allow nails and spikes at the rate of 4 to 5 kgs for first use. Nails and spikes we require, right, for holding your formwork in place, right, to form the particular shape of your beam or your concrete or whatever element you want. You want nails, you want to hammer your nails into formwork in particularly timber work. And when you are dealing with steel, you need spikes. You cannot drill or you cannot hammer nails into your steel, right? We will hold your steel formwork by using spikes. Okay, and we will assume 10 square meter of formwork. So let us look into this particular table number 3.5. So here the materials required, okay, for various kind of works, right? Various kind of work like foundation work, like beam or slab work, right? Wall, partition walls, column work, all these works, different materials that are required for these particular works are given. Okay, and usually 10 square meter of formwork we are considering, including what? Wastage, including wastage. Okay, now these particular terms, boarding, these battens, and these struts or bellies, what we call, I will show you images of what these particular boarding, scantling, battens are there. Okay, so are you able to see this screen wherein you can see formwork for a wall, right? Formwork for a RCC wall is seen. Okay, so boards are nothing but this plywood. We can see these are made up of steel, right? These boards which are made up of steel, or whether they are made, or they can be made up of timber, right? Plywood. So these boards are nothing but here which are mentioned in the table, that is your second column, right? Boards, which you can see over here. So these boards need to be supported by these battens, right? These boards cannot be held into place by their own self weight. They have to be supported by these battens, which you can see are there. Battens which are in the horizontal directions. Battens are provided. Okay. So these are battens, and these particular things you can see struts are provided. Struts you can see for supports. These particular elements, horizontal elements or inclined elements are provided, which are called as struts, so that they do not fall. Right, struts are there. Then these bellies or these struts are there, and then these are what your these are your boards, right? Which is your it can be made up of steel or it can be made up of timber. Then here also you can see this blue color element is your board. Okay, these are nothing but panels. Okay, it can be a single panel or it can be multiple panels which are held together. Okay, multiple panels can be held together by various fixtures. Okay, or it can be a single solid panel. Okay, so those panels are nothing but your boards, which you are naming it in table. They are boards, and these are your battens. You can see in red color, these are battens which are running horizontally as well as vertical. And these are your props or your struts, which are there for your supports, right? These inclined members are your props. Similarly, in the right hand side figure, you can see these red color things are your props, and this is a I think it is a steel, right? It is also a steel formwork which is there, right? And the horizontal and vertical elements are nothing but your patterns which are provided. Okay, so this is an example of a wood formwork. Wood formwork, this particular element which you can see is running horizontally. These are nothing but boards, right? Boards or plates, right? Boards, and then these boards are held together in place by these battens. Okay, battens. Okay, I think, are you able to hear me? There was some network issue. Okay, so this is an example of what? This is an example of wooden formwork which we were discussing. So here I have told you these panels or these horizontal members which are called as panels or boards are held together by these battens. Okay, and this is your support which is your strut. Okay, and you can see here this is one panel of your formwork which is running. Okay, continuous. This is a single panel, right? And this is held together by these patterns which are provided, right? You can see patterns are provided, and then the support is provided for the formwork which we call as props or struts or bellies. Okay, props or struts or bellies. Okay, so these are various elements which we have to calculate the quantities of, right? And usually what happens is this timber, when we are dealing with timber, okay, timber, we have to calculate usually meter cube, right? Whenever you go and order this particular formwork, you have to order in meter cube. And when you are dealing with steel, okay, when you are dealing with steel, usually we order in number of plates, okay, number of plates. Okay, and when you are dealing with angles, right, we do not use battens when you are dealing with steel formwork. Yeah, if you are having steel plates, we hold your steel plates by using angles. Okay, angles, they may be IS angles, ISA angles. Okay, ISA angles. Instead of these wooden battens, you have to use angles to hold your steel plates in place. Okay, so these are usually calculated in kgs. Okay, in kgs. Okay, for steel, for this timber, it is usually done in terms of meter cube, and for steel, it is done in terms of mass. Okay, in terms of kgs. Multiply these kgs by their unit weight, and you will get the total quantity, right? Total quantity. Then boarding, I have told you what boarding is, right? And battens, I have told you. Then what are they? These are what? These are your vertical supports, right? Vertical supports, what we call as centering, right? This is your vertical post, which you call as vertical post or vertical props, right? But vertical props or what we call as jacks inside, right? We call as jacks. Okay. So this is your vertical support which we need to provide. You can see battens are provided here. Battens are provided for your support. These are your vertical supports or vertical props, what we call as. And this colored thing you can see, that is your board, right? That is your board. And then this is your battens which are provided for support battens. Okay. And these are inclined members which we call as braces or what we call as struts. Okay, inclined members. So all these quantities are provided we have to calculate, all these quantities you have to calculate. Now, this is, you can see an example of a beam formwork. You can see this is a board, you can see on your screen, this is one single board. Okay, single board, and for this board we need some supports, right? We have to provide some batten, right? This is a batten.
Sir, your voice is breaking.
This is also one batten which we have provided for support, and this is a inclined member for support, which is a strut. Okay. So this is also, you can see in cross section view, this is a Okay. So am I audible clearly now? I hope I'm audible. Yes. Can anyone let me know whether I'm audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Clear? Okay. Are you able to
Yes,
see
sir.
the screen? Screen is
No,
visible?
sir.
No, sir. No, sir.
No,
Okay.
sir.
No, sir.
Okay. Okay. So where was I before my connection went off? Where was I? Can you tell me?
Sir, column either, sir.
This particular image? Was I explaining this image or the previous one?
Sir, beam. Ah, sir, this one, sir.
This one? This one?
No, sir. Next, sir. Next.
This one?
Ah, yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So this image shows you various elements that are there in a formwork, right? Various elements. You can see this vertical member, what we call, it is your vertical support that we provide, right? It is our post, which you call post, or what we call as prop. Okay, post or prop. This is what? This is post or prop. Then you can see that is over here provided, right? Whenever you have suspended members, you have to provide this kind of formwork and this kind of supports, right? For slab, for beam, right? These kind of supports are required. Then the colored thing which you can see here is nothing but board, right? That is a panel or board which we have provided. And then these are your supports or your battens which are provided for your formwork, right? Then this inclined member which you can see here is nothing but struts, right? It is struts, or it is struts or inclined member, or what we also call as bracings, right? So we need to calculate all these things which are seen in your screen. Okay. Then coming to this example, you can see clearly this is one panel of timber, right? This is one panel of timber, and this panel of timber is supported by this particular battens. You can see these are battens which are provided for supports, and then there are this inclined or these struts which are provided. This is a strut. This is also a strut which is provided for support. Then this is your vertical post or jack, what we call as jack, or your suspended beams, right? Suspended beams which you have to provide. Then you can see in this also image, and in this particular image, you can see we require certain fixtures. We require some fixtures at joints, right? Fixtures, couplers, and at joints which we need to provide. So these quantities, right? These joints, at these joints, these fixtures which we require, we calculate them in terms of lump sum. Okay, we do not calculate in number and all. We directly we calculate them in a lump sum quantities. Okay. So the main thing which you have to calculate here is Okay, we have to calculate here is this board, which you can see in red color. Boards are provided, right? They are smooth on the inside, right? There are no undulations on the inside. This particular thing is smooth on the inside. This particular is a beam, right? Formwork for beam, you can see. And these are what? These are battens, which you can see in yellow color, right? These are battens. For each panel we require some battens for support, right? So we require some supports, which I'm drawing in red color, or you can see in yellow color. These are what? These are battens which are provided. So you have to calculate the quantity of battens, you have to calculate the quantity of boards, and we have to calculate the quantity of supports that is required, right? You can see we have to calculate this kind of supports quantity of this particular element. Okay. So as I've told you, timber, if you are dealing with, you have to calculate in meter cube. Steel, we can calculate in number of plates, in number of angles, and then convert that to kgs. Okay, so in this example, you can see they have provided what? They have provided this timber board. They have provided timber board, and this is your batten, which is for support. Okay, there is one batten at the top. There is one batten on each side of a panel. Okay, and this is a vertical support, or what we call as prop, and this is your strut. Okay, and for column also, you can see here at column, boards are provided, and for this particular board, you can see at each corner they have provided a support, or at each corner they have provided an angular support, and then these are your battens, right? These horizontal members are your battens. Okay, so is this particular element of this particular formwork clear? Are your elements clear? What we need to calculate in formwork?
Yes, sir.
Here, okay. So with the help of images, I've shown you different things that are required to be calculated in formwork. Okay, so formwork, once your formwork is ready, you can see these in this manner. You place your reinforcement inside, and then you pour your concrete. Okay, so this is for your formwork. Now, moving on to your table, which we were studying. Okay, so this I hope you have understood what is boarding, what is this battens, and these struts which we require, right? Struts or ballies. Ballies are what we call as vertical members, and struts are usually your inclined members. Okay, so all these members we have seen in images. Now we have to learn how to calculate their quantities. Okay, now for 10 square meter of work, for 10 square meter of formwork, for different kind of situations, right? Different kind of situations. Suppose you are dealing with foundation. You are dealing with footings, or the base of columns, or mass concrete. Okay, suppose you are dealing with that. So for 10 square meter, you are requiring what? 11 square meter of boards. You require 11 square meter of board, and 0.064 quantity or in cubic meter you require battens, and struts you require 13 in running meters. Okay, in running meters we calculate your ballies or your vertical members, right? They are calculated in running meters. These battens are calculated in cubic meters, and these boards, right? Boards are calculated in square meters. Okay, so for different kind of work, we have you can see in this table we have different number and we have different values for each of these ballies, boards, and struts. Okay, for soffits meaning the bottom part of your beam, right? Bottom part of your landing, or bottom part of your roof, or for roof slabs up to 200 mm thick. Up to 200 mm thick. If this is the case, what you have to do? You have to use 10.05 as the value in square meters for boarding, and for battens it is 1.105, and 82 meters. Okay, 82 meter is the strut quantity that is required. Okay, now the same thing, but the 200, it is exceeding 200 mm thick. Okay, exceeding 200 mm in thickness, these are the values. Okay, similarly, if you are dealing with walls, partition walls, if you are dealing with parapet walls, okay, you have to use these particular numbers. Okay, now if you are dealing with columns, this is the value which you have to use. Okay, now, but if you are using columns and the column is circular in plan, okay, this is for rectangular columns. And if your column is circular, you have to use these particular values, 12, 0.11 and 64. Okay, now we are done with bottom, right? We are done with soffit. Now we have to look into for the sides, right? For sides and soffit of beams, okay, side and also for soffit of beams. Sides, these are your side panels for your formwork, and this is your soffit panel. For this, we have to use 11.5 and 0.11 and 38. So for each panel, for this panel, you have to use this value, for this panel and also for bottom separately, okay? This is not combination. This is for each. Then edges of slab, okay, edges of slab and breaks in suspended floors. Okay, for edges of slab, for edge of your slab, for edges of breaks in your floors, for all those things, you have to use these number. Okay, there is no support or there is no vertical valleys which you have to provide. Then for staircase, we have certain values, and also for chhajjas, we have certain values. So this particular table is very important, and we have to remember these values for calculation. Okay, so now moving on to next thing. So now let us look into calculation, how we exactly apply these values into your numericals. So in this numerical, you can see timber formwork is used. Timber formwork for soffit of suspended slab. Okay, for a slab we have to calculate, right? For the soffit you have to calculate. Okay, for the soffit or the bottom part for the slab what we provide, for that we have to calculate. Okay, not exceeding 200 mm thick, not exceeding 200 mm thick, meaning which case we have to apply this particular case. Okay, our second case, wherein we have to calculate, we can calculate the soffit. So this particular number you have to remember, 10.5, 0.105 and 82 meters, 0.105 and 82 meters. Okay. Now the materials that are required, right? Materials I have told you, we require boarding, right? We require panels, we require battens, right? We require battens, and we require ballies or vertical post we require. So for boarding, right? So 10.5 is what? 10.5 is considering your 10 square meters plus some amount of extra which we consider, right? 50%, I think we have considered 5% extra, right? 5% extra we have considered. So that we have written down. Okay. Then divide by 16. Why we have divided by 16? Because it can be reused. It can be reused for 16 times, right? It can be reused by 16 times. And one panel, okay, one board. Suppose this is your board. What is the thickness of this particular panel? Thickness of this particular panel, it is used as 0.02 mm thick. Okay, this particular panel, wooden panel which we are using, it is 0.02 mm thick. Okay. So every time, remember, every time you have to divide this particular, divide by 16. Everywhere you have to divide by 16. Okay, and whenever you are dealing with steel, okay, you have to divide by 40. But here, since we are using timber, you have to divide by 16. Every quantity we have to divide by 16. Do not forget. Okay. So now, for board, we know it is 10.5, right? 10.5, add 5%, divide by 16, multiply by the thickness. You will get the quantity in cubic meters. As I've told you, timber calculation you have to do in meter cube. Okay. Quantity we have calculated in meter cube, that is 0.0131. Okay. Next, for battens, the number that you have to remember from the table is 0.105, correct? 0.105 is the quantity of battens that is required. So as I've told you, divide by number, that is 16 number you have to divide always. So divide by 16. So this quantity is for battens. Okay, 0.00656. This is the quantity of battens that is required. Now add these two, because these are in cubic meters, right? Add these two. This is the quantity that is after summation of these two. Okay. Next, for ballies, we have to calculate in running meters, right? It is in running meters, hence we cannot add it over here. We cannot add it in here because it is calculated in running meters. Okay. So 82 is the constant or the running meters number that we have adopted from the table. 82 divided by the number of uses, that is 16 number of uses, hence it will be 5.125, which is written over here. Okay, quantity. Next, multiply by their rate. Okay, so timber rate per cubic meter is taken as 31,300. Okay, you can use your prevailing rates in your city. So it is currently whatever rate it is there in the city you can use. So for our calculation, we are using 31,300 per cubic meter rate of timber. Okay, and per running meter rate we have taken as 25. So multiply, you will get the quantity. Sorry, you will get the amount. Okay. So once you are done with materials, you can easily calculate labors, right? Labor quantity calculation is very easy. No problem. You require a carpenter, 2.3 number of carpenters. Helper, for this carpenter, we require 2 number of helpers. And one more important thing, shuttering oil also you require shuttering oil, right? So that you apply your shuttering oil before your placing of concrete, so that your concrete can be stripped later easily, right? Removal is easy. So shuttering oil we will consider in lump sum. And some sundries, right? Sundries like your nails, fixtures, right? All those things we will consider in lump sum. So these we have considered in lump sum. Calculate the grand total, divide by the assumption, that is 10 square meters. You will get, this is what? This is in meter square. So 267 rupees per meter square is the formwork rate which you are applying. Okay, formwork rate for your slab. Okay, for the soffit of your slab, soffit. Correct. Soffit of the slab we have calculated, soffit of slab. So this is the rate. Okay. So is this numerical clear? Have you understood this particular thing? I hope you have understood. Is it clear, guys? Let me know if you have understood. Yes. Calculation of formwork in timber. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತೇನಿಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ? ಯಾಕ್ರಿ ರಿಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಯಾರು ಇವತ್ತು? Kiran Vernikar has raised his hand. Okay. Pradeep. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತ್ರಿ? No problem. Can you move on to steel?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is regarding timber. We have studied regarding timber. Now we will learn regarding steel formwork. Okay, steel centering. You can see steel centering and formwork, for which lintel, beams, plinth beams, cantilevers, all those things we are going to learn. Now, consider a beam size. Okay, consider a beam size of 0.3 mm wide, 0.5 mm deep, and the span of this beam is 6 meters. Okay, so I have drawn a beam formwork over here. You can see this particular thing, the width they have given as 0.3 meter wide. And what is the depth of this particular beam? Depth of this beam is 0.5. And what is the span? Span of this beam is 6 meters. For your reference, what I've done, I have drawn this particular formwork of your beam. Okay, so we require 2 side panels, right? We require 2 side panels and 1 panel at the bottom. So what is the height? We require height. Height is 3.5 meter above the floor. Okay, it is from the floor. The height of this particular beam is at 3.5 meters. So we require vertical members also. Vertical post which we require, we have to calculate. Now, what we will do here is assume quantity. Okay, what is the quantity? First we will calculate quantity. So how have they arrived at this 7.8? How have they arrived at this 7.8? So this can be calculated. How this can be calculated? This you had 0.5 plus 0.3 plus 0.5. Okay, perimeter we are calculating 0.3 plus 0.5 plus 0.5 or 0.3 plus 0.5. So this perimeter multiplied by the span. So calculate 0.5 plus 0.3 plus 0.5. What is the value? What is the number? Can you tell me what is the number? Can you tell me the number? What is this number? Perimeter number. Madri calculation madri bega. 0.5 plus 0.3 plus 0.5.
1.3.
1.3. Okay. Multiplied by the span, 6 meters. How much is it? Answer is already on your screen.
7.8.
7.8, sir.
Correct. 7.8. So this is the amount of or the square meters or the surface area of whatever formwork we require. Okay, this is the formwork in square meters that we require. Okay, 7.8 square meters of formwork is required for this particular beam. Okay, so we have calculated the amount or the quantity of formwork that is required. No problem. Now moving on to the next. Assuming shattering will become unserviceable after 40 times, right? This particular steel formwork which we are using, we will use it for 40 times, and after 40 times it will become unusable, right? It will become unserviceable after 40 times of usage. So this steel can be later on sold, right? So steel has some resale value, right? This steel can be resold. So this resale value is called as salvage value. Okay, salvage value. Resale value is called as salvage value, right? So this particular, let us assume that this particular this particular steel costs you some X value. Some X value it costs, some X percentage of value it costs us. Some maintenance charges is required every time you use it. Okay, so it is 10% of maintenance charge, and it is additional, right? Additional cost that we are requiring for maintenance. Now, salvage value, what we consider for steel, salvage value is 25%. 25% which we will be getting back after resale of this steel. So minus 25. So what is the equivalent now? Equivalent. So if you consider this as 100% which we pay during the buying of this particular steel, so we are left out with 85%. Okay, 85%, or it is nothing but 0.85. 0.85. Okay, so this is how you arrive at this particular effective value 0.85. Okay, now we have to divide this by 40 because this is the reuse number. We can reuse your steel for 40 times. So this particular constant value is very important. You have to multiply this constant value for every material quantity that you calculate. Suppose you calculate the quantity of panels that you are requiring, panels. So multiply, after you calculate in meter cube or square meters, multiply that by this constant. Suppose now you calculate the battens or the angles that you require for this particular steel work, then multiply that quantity by this particular constant. Okay, so every material calculation you have to multiply by this constant value, that is 0.85 by 40. Okay, so is this part clear? Have you understood this constant calculation? Is it clear? Yes. Can anyone let me know whether you are following, whether I am still connected to the meeting? You can reply and let me know. Please reply so that I understand that you are there and I am still connected. Yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. 0.5, 0.3 is the size of this beam. 6 meters is the span, and we have calculated what? 0.85 by 40 is the constant term which you have to multiply, and also 7.8 meter is the required formwork. 7.8 square meters is the required quantity of formwork. Okay. Now you can see here this particular I have explained to you, right? 0.85 or 85% I have explained to you. Now for this particular panel, we are assuming that we are going to use steel panels of 0.25, 1.2 meter in width and 0.5 meter in height. Okay, which is the depth of your beam, right? This is the depth of your beam, and this is the span, which is going up to 6 meter. But one panel is of 1.2 meter in length. 1.2 meter in length. Total, what is the span of the beam? It is 6 meter. But the depth of the beam is 0.5. Hence, the panel height is 0.5. Okay. Now, don't worry. This is very easy. You can assume 1.2. You can assume any other size, but this is standard which we are using, 1.2 by 0.5. Now, we require certain angles, right? We require certain angles. So this angle size which we are considering here is 40 by 40 by 5. Okay, 40 by 40 by 5. So how many number of angles are required per plate? How many angles are required per plate? We will look into that now. How many angles? We require one angle over here for support. One angle over here. One angle over here. Okay. And here we require one more angle at this corner. At this edge we require one more, And since this is more than 1 meter, we require one more angle at the center. So what is the total length of angles required? Can you tell me what is the total length of angles that are required in running meter? Running meter, we have to calculate the this particular angles we have to calculate. So how many number of 1.2 meter angles we are required? How many number of 1.2 meter angles? Here 1 and 2. Okay, 2. Okay. Plus 0.5 meter length. How many angles are required? 1, 2,
3, sir.
correct, 3. No problem. So what is the total in running meter? Now can you calculate this in your calculator and tell me what is the total value of this? How much? Calculate and let me know.
3.9, sir.
3.9. Okay, so that is how you have arrived at this 3.9, which they have written over here. Can you see 3.9 is written on your screen? Okay. So weight of the angles. Okay, weight of the angle for this particular angle, the weight per meter of this angle is given as 3.9. Okay, 3.9 is what? The weight per meter. So our we are requiring how much? 3.9 meters we are requiring, and rate per meter is how much? Weight per meter is 3 kilos. 3 kilos per meter. Sorry, it is not 3.9. 3 kilos per meter. So totally how much kilos it will be? 3.9 into 3, that is 11.7 kgs of angles are required. Okay, 11.7 kgs of what? Of angles. That is this particular angles which we require for each panel. Okay, so now moving on. So how many number of panels are required, that we have to calculate. Before that, let us assume that this particular sheet is of how much thick? 1.6 mm in thickness. This particular sheet is of 1.6 mm thick. The thickness of this sheet is 1.6. They have given us. No problem. Now 1.2 into 0.5. What is the square meter? 0.6, right? 1.2 into 1.5 is, or into 0.5. If you do this particular panel, the area of one panel is how much? 0.6 square meters. 0.6 square meters. Okay. So the weight of this panel, okay, weight of this panel in square meters, okay, kg per square meter is given as 12.55. The weight that is for one panel, okay, one panel, it is 12.55 kg per square meter. So 0.6 into 12.55 will give you the weight of what? Weight of one panel. Weight of one panel is 7.53 kgs. Weight of one panel is 7.53 kgs. Okay, now we know weight of one panel is what? 7.53. And to this we have these angles which are attached, and the angle weight is what? 11.7 kilos, right? 11.7 kilos, which I have written here. 11.7 kilos, and this weight of the panel plus weight of the angle is the total weight of this particular structure, right? So that is equal to what? 19.23. 7.53 plus 11.7 is equal to 19.23 kilos. Okay, weight of one plate. Okay, including the angles. So this is what you have to do now. Add 5% of wastage. Add 5% of wastage. You will get the total kilos of weight of steel for one panel, including the angles, that is 20.19 kilos. Okay, 20.19 kilos. So is this particular calculation clear, guys? Is this particular calculation clear? How have we arrived at this total weight? 20.19. Yes, can you tell me if you have understood? 20.19. Calculation of the total weight of one panel of steel, including the angles, and adding 5% waste. It is 20.19 kilos. Okay, now we have to calculate what? How many number of panels are required? How many number of panels are required? We have to calculate. So 15 they have arrived, that they have told that we require 15 number of panels, 15 number of panels. Multiply that by the per panel weight. Per panel weight is 20. You will get that the total amount of steel that is required is 302 kilos of steel is required, including the angles. Now how have we arrived at this 15? How have we arrived? I will explain how have we arrived at this 15. So remember, one panel is 0.5 meter in height and 1.2 meter in length. Okay, 1.2 meter in length. Now this is your beam, right? 0.5 meter in height and 0.3 meter in width. So one panel will be fitting like this, right? One panel will be fitting like this, and adjacent to this panel, one more panel we will be fitting, right? Similarly, we will be fitting until we reach 6 meters, right? Until we reach 6 meters. So what is the length of one panel? One panel is 1.2 meter in length, right? Each panel is 1.2 meter. So 6 meters is the total. So 6 divided by 1.2. What is the number that is required? Sorry, 6. Correct. 6.6 into 1. Divided by 1.2. What is the value?
5.
5. 5. Correct. 5 number. Correct. So 5 number is required on one side. On one side, we require 5 number. On the other side, similarly, we will be requiring 5 numbers. And on the base, right, at the base also, we will be requiring 5 numbers. So 5 at one side, 5 at the other side, and 5 at the base. So 5 into 3, that is equal to 15. Correct? 15. So I hope it is clear. I hope it is clear. So that is how we can arrive at this 15. 15, multiply that by the per panel weight, you will get the total amount of steel. Okay, and I've told you this particular constant we have to multiply after every calculation, right? 0.85 by 40. 0.85 by 40. So this 0.85 by 40 we have multiplied, and we have got this material weight. Okay, material weight in kgs, 6.45. Okay, now you can prepare this table. Steel we have calculated, right? It is 6.45. Steel we have calculated. Rate per kg is 67. Then we require what? We require clamps. We require clamps. So how many number of clamps are required? 6 number of clamps. 6 number of clamps. We have 5 number of plates which we require, right? 5 number on each side. 5 number on each side. So we consider plus 1. Okay, plus 1, that is 6 number. Okay, 6 number multiply by this constant 0.85 by 40. Always multiply. Then this is the amount in kg that you require for beam clamps. Okay, so each clamp is of 1200 mm each. Then sorry, it is not. Okay, it is 1200 mm each. So multiply, you will get the amount. Then quantity taken for cost for using once. So this is phi. What is this phi now? What is this phi? Which is taken here, quantity taken for cost. This is nothing but beam clamp. Okay, beam clamp is this phi number. Okay, beam clamp. This is what? This is not beam clamp. 6 number of telescopic props. Okay, I have taken it wrong. This is not beam clamp which I have calculated. The first thing, the second thing which I have calculated here, 6 number. What is this 6 number? It is your props or your vertical supports which you require, right? How many number of supports? 6 meter is there, right? 6 meter is the span of our beam. So per meter we provide one support. Per meter or per meter we provide one support. So 6 number are required. Multiply that by the constant. You will get the quantity of this particular supports. Okay, so 1200 is the quantity of each support. Sorry, the rate of each support. So the total, this is the amount that we will be requiring. Now beam clamp we require 5 number of beam clamps we require. Multiply that by the constant. You will get the quantity for, you will get the amount for beam clamps. Next, we require some nuts and bolts, right? We require some nuts and bolts. You can keep them in lump sum. You can calculate them in lump sum, no problem. Then regarding labor, we require fitters, we require helpers, we require shuttering oil, and we require some paperwork, tapes, etc. We can calculate that in lump sum. This fitter and labor, we require 1.25 number and 2.5 number of helpers, right? Because it is steel, we require more amount of helpers. Okay, you can calculate then the grand total. Divide that by the surface area which we had calculated initially, 7.8, right? 7.8 was the total calculation which we had done, right? 7.8. So divide here later on by the 7.8, you will get the per meter square rate, okay, of the formwork and shuttering required for what? Required for a particular beam of this size. Okay, so this is how you can calculate for your steel formwork as well as shuttering. Okay, steel formwork as well as shuttering for a beam which is of size 0.5 by 0.3. Okay, and the span was what, 6 meters. Okay, so this is how you have to calculate. I know it is a bit lengthy. You will feel you might be feeling it is lengthy, but we are doing it for the first time, hence it is taking time. But in exam, you can easily calculate all these things in a very short time, right? In 10-15 minutes, you can calculate all these things. Okay, so is this particular steel calculations clear? Steel shuttering and formwork which we had calculated for a beam. Let me know whether you have understood. Yes or no. You can let me know by raising your hands. Yes. Please raise your
Sir, running meter ಅಂದ್ರೆ
ಯಾವ್ದ್ರಿ ರನ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಮೀಟರ್ ಸರ್?
ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಮೀಟರ್ಗೂ ಮತ್ತು ರನ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಮೀಟರ್ಗೂ ಏನು ವ್ಯತ್ಯಾಸ?
ಏನ್ ಫರಕ್ ಇಲ್ರಿ, ಅದೇ ಸೇಮ್. ಬಟ್ ಲೆಟ್ ಮಿ ಶೋ ಯು ಒನ್ ಇಮೇಜ್, ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್. Okay, so this particular vertical prop, okay, vertical prop which is present over here. So when you go and order this particular prop, right, particular support which you are seeing here, where what you tell them in meters, the total length in meters that you require. Okay, you add 1, 2, 3, you can see 3 supports, vertical supports are provided here. So what you can do, you can add the support. Suppose this height is 3 meters, so it will be totally 9 meters which you will be requiring, right? 9 meters which you are requiring. So you can tell them, give us 9 meters of this vertical support. Then you can come at site and you can cut them as per your required height, and then you can use them as supports. So the difference between running meters, we use running meters when we are dealing with such kind of items. Okay, when you are dealing with such kind of items, you tell them in running meters. Running meters meaning continuous, any element which is you are ordering in continuous. Yeah, right. This is in running meters which you order them. Running meters and meter is nothing but the same. Okay, the value which you tell them is same. 9 here is same. But whenever you are dealing with such kind of elements, you have to order them in running meters. Okay, you tell them in running meters, or also if you tell them in meters, they will understand, no problem. Okay, the numerical value is same, don't worry. Numerical value is same for running meters as well as meters. I hope you have understood this calculation for steel. Now we have understood for timber, we have understood for steel. Now every other example will be same, right? Every other example will be same. Depending upon steel or whether you are calculating for timber, you can do the calculations. So here you can see in the next example, you can see it is a steel formwork for columns. Okay, we are calculating for columns. Now what is the column dimension? Column dimension, so this is a square column of 450 by 450. Square column of 450 by 450. The height of this column is 2.5 meter. The height of this column I have drawn over here, it is 2.5 meters. Okay, so now area of contact or this perimeter. Can you calculate this perimeter and tell me what is this perimeter? Area of contact, this particular thing, and then multiply that by the height. 450 by 450, multiply that by the height and tell me in meters what is the answer. Square meters. Okay, it will be in square meter. Are you doing it or should I do it? Answer is already
4.5, sir.
4.5, right? Answer is already on a screen. It is 4.5. So area of contact which you are calculating, it is nothing but this area which your concrete is in contact with your formwork, right? This particular area also in the height. This is in cross section. Multiply that by the height. So the total area that is in contact is 4.5 square meters. Okay. Now, assuming shuttering will be serviceable for 40 times, right? And add 10% charges, right? What we have done, using these particular 3 statements, we will arrive at this particular constant, right? 0.85 by 40. So remember to multiply by this constant every time you are dealing with steel formwork. Okay, whenever you are dealing with steel formwork, remember this particular constant. Okay, so directly do not use this particular constant. In exam, you have to mention these particular statements and then you have to use this particular constant. Okay. So wall panel, okay, wall panel, all this panel which we are using for your column, that panel size I have shown over here, it is 450 meters in width, and in height it is 1250. Okay, the height and the width of one panel I have shown over here. Okay, now how have we arrived at this 8? Can you calculate and tell me how have we arrived at this 8 number of panels, quantity taken for cost for using once, 8. How have we arrived at this particular 8? How have we arrived at this 8? Can you tell me? 8 number they have taken into account, 8 number. Quantity taken for cost for using once. We know this is the constant 0.85 by 40. 0.85 by 40, you have to multiply for every other. Now, how have we arrived at this particular rate? How have we arrived? You can try and calculate from these values. We have per panel, I have told you the size, right? So 2.5 meter is the total height, 2.5. So how many number of panels we will be requiring? So 2.5 divided by 1.25. Tell me the value. How much is it? 2.5 divided by 1.25. That is panel required on one side. Number of panels that are required on one side. I am drawing it on your screen. You can see you will be requiring so many number of panels. Right? Height of each panel is 1.25 and the width of one panel is 0.45. So 2.5 divided by 1.25. Can you tell me the value? How much is it?
2.
2, correct. So each side we require two panels on each side, correct. So 2 panels are required on each side. So what this particular thing I've drawn is wrong. So we will be requiring how much? Like this, we will be requiring 1 panel and we will be requiring 1 more panel. Like 2 panels on one side. So how many sides we have for our column? We have 4 sides. One side, 2, 3, 4. So multiply that by 4, right? So 2 panels per side, and how many sides? 4. So 4 into 2, we totally require 8 number of panels. Okay, 8 number of panels. So 8 number divided by this constant, you will get in numbers. Okay, now what we are doing, we are not calculating in terms of kgs, we are calculating in terms of numbers, number of panels, because it is very easier. So in the previous example, what you have done, we have calculated in terms of kilos, right? In terms of kgs we have calculated, and we have seen in terms of kgs, if you want to calculate, it is a bit tedious. So what we will do, we will keep it in terms of numbers itself. Okay, and later on we will multiply that by the kgs. Okay, now you can see in this particular image, we have calculated the panels, right? We have calculated panels. This particular panels we have calculated. Now to hold this particular panels in place, we require angles, right? You can see I have drawn 4 angles at each corner, right? We require these kind of angles at each corner to hold your panels in place. So 4 number of panels. Because of that, we are writing 4, right? Here 4 we have written, and each angle is of this size, 45 by 45 by 5. Okay, so this is the size, and what is the height? We require 2.5 meter, which is the total height of your column, right? Height of each angle is 2.5 and the size is 45 by 45, and 5 mm is the thickness of this angle. So how many number? 4 number, and 2.5 meter is the height of each angle. Okay, no problem. So 4 into this constant we have multiplied, and we have calculated in numbers. Okay, so now we have calculated in numbers the panels, the required panels and the required angles. So you can now prepare your table. Preparation of table is very easy. So wall panels, first thing is the wall panels, right? This is the number which we had calculated. Next, the corner angles, the number we have calculated, we have written down. Then column clamps we require. Okay, column clamps we require. So we have taken 5 number as lump sum. Okay, 5 number is taken as lump sum. Column clamps that are required, multiply by the constant. Okay, don't forget to multiply by the constant. This number we have written here. Okay, now props. Props we have taken 2 meter. Okay, prop. Okay, 2 meter of props. Height of 2 meter prop we have taken, and we have taken 4 number of props. Okay, 4 number of props we have taken, which are required to support on all the sides, right? On all the sides, we require the props. Okay, you can see these kind of props are required to support your column on each side. Their panel are supported by using these kind of props on each side. So 4 number of props are required. Okay, so this you can see here on one side, on the other side, similarly on this side and the other side also we require. So we require props. So that is taken over here. So 4 number of props are taken, multiply that by the constant, and that number is written over here. Okay, and nuts and bolts we have taken as lump sum. Then rates we know, or rates we have multiplied of each of these items. Rate we have multiplied and we have calculated the amount. Okay, so now we are done with material. Second thing, we can calculate easily for labor. You know how to calculate for labor. Then add the total value, divide by the square meter, right? Square meter we had calculated initially, it was 4.5. Okay, 4.5 here you can see 4.5 here, right? Initially we had calculated 4.5. Don't divide by 10 square meters. Okay, whatever we had calculated initially, that you have to divide. So this is in meter square. Rupees 382 per meter square is the rate analysis which we have done now. Okay, so this is how you can calculate by using numbers. Okay, using kgs it is difficult, but using numbers it is easy. Okay, so you can either go by kgs or you can go by numbers. So I prefer by going numbers because it is easier to solve and it is quicker to solve. Okay, so I hope you have understood this particular centering and former calculation required for columns. Okay, steel. If you have understood, you can let me know by raising your hands. I can check who all are active. You can raise your hand and let me know if you have understood and if you are there and listening to me. Please raise your hand, those who are listening and those who have understood. Please raise your hand. Everyone, those who are active, please raise your hand. Let me check who all are there. Okay. Okay, thank you. You can lower your hand. You can lower your hand. Okay. So moving on to the next thing. This particular problem is also same. Okay, it is also same. The panel size, right? I have drawn a panel. So panel size they have given. Panel size, you can see it is 0.75 by 0.6. Okay, it is reverse. I think it is reverse. 0.75 by 0.6 is panel size, and they have given to consider a room. Okay, of room of size 4.5 by 3. Room size is given as 4.5 by 3. So the total square meters is 13.5. 13.5. So the angles are given. Angle size are given. Okay, so we can calculate for each panel how much you require. You require supports, right? One at this side, one at this side, one over here, and one over here. Okay, so 4 number of angles are required per plate. Okay, 4 number of angles are required per plate. So you can calculate that angle length in running meters. Angle length in running meters. Then plate size is given. Okay, weight of one plate you can calculate. Then okay, you can add the weight of one plate plus the weight of 4 angles which we are using. That total weight, you add 5% of wastage. Then weight of one plate including wastage is 14.44 kgs, right? We have done this previously, same steps we will be following here. Then weight of all plates, so how many number of plates are required? 30 number of plates are required. Okay, so how have we arrived at this 30? So 13.5 is the total square meters of the room. Okay, and one panel is of what size? One panel is of 0.75 by 0.6. So if you divide 13.5, that is the total area of the room, by the area of each panel, you will get 30 as the answer. You can check, you can calculate and check, you will get 30. So 30 number of panels are required. 30 number of panels are required. So multiply that by the kg weight. Okay, weight of each panel you can multiply. You will get the total kgs that is required. Okay, then do not forget to multiply by the constant. Do not forget to multiply by the constant. Okay. Then steel we have calculated 9.2. We have written over here. Then these particular props we require, right? Props we required for supports. So we are considering 5 number of props. So that is what is written over here. Then, sorry, it is the props are written over here. 3 meter prop, right? 3 meter is the height of the floor. So 3 meter props are required. So that is what we have considered over here. 6 number of props are required. So 6 number we have written here. Then assembly and bolts and nuts we are taking in lump sum. Then these are your labors. You can read and you can understand various labors are required. Okay. So here extra thing is you require welding charges. Okay. Welding charges we will considering lump sum. Okay. So these remaining things are same: carpenter, helper, fitter, and helper for carpenters and helper for fitter. Okay. You can consider this. You can arrive at your grand total. Don't forget to divide by the area of your room. Area of your room is 13.5. So we have arrived at this 4344 rupees per meter square. Okay, so we have done the rate analysis for a room. Okay, or the form work required for a room. So this is a similar example which we have done for steel, right? The steel in the first numerical for steel. The same thing you can follow. You will be able to solve this particular numerical. Next numerical, here you can see now we have arrived at brickwork. Brickwork is very easy. Brickwork calculation is very easy. Keep there is no tricky thing here. Only calculator work is required. Okay, if you have a calculator, quickly calculate and let me know. We will finish up with brickwork. Very easy. Brickwork is very easy. No problem. So the size of one brick. Okay, size of one brick including mortar. Including mortar is what? This size which I have written over here, 10 centimeters into 10 centimeters into 20. So let me draw a brick for you. So this is 10 centimeters, this is 10 centimeters. Okay, cross section is 10 by 10 and the length is 20. Length is 20. So this is including what? This is including your mortar. This is including your mortar. So if you do not include your mortar, the size of this brick is what? 0.9 9 centimeters by 9 centimeters by 19 centimeters. Okay, this is 9, this is 9, and this is 19. Okay, excluding your mortar, If you include your mortar, it will be 10 by 10 by 20. Okay, so this standard you have to remember. Do not forget this. This standard is very important, which you have to remember. In the question what they have given, we have to consider first class brickwork in cement mortar 1:4. Okay, cement mortar 1:4, no problem. Now, take 10 cubic meter. Okay, for brickwork, we have to calculate in meter cube. Okay, do not forget, for brickwork, you have to calculate in meter cube. And whenever we want to calculate in meter cube, I have told you we have to assume 10 meter cube as the standard. Okay, and then later on, after you arrive at our answer, divide by 10. Okay, so 10 meter cube we have assumed since it is in superstructure. Okay, it is in superstructure and also in ground floor. Okay, if we want to do brickwork at a higher elevation, we have to include scaffolding. Okay, include scaffolding if we are doing at a higher elevation. If we are doing at ground level, we do not require scaffolding. Okay, so depending upon the condition, you can either add scaffolding or you can ignore your scaffolding. Okay, so moving on to the calculation of number of bricks that are required. Okay, number of bricks that are required. Okay. So 10 meter cube is the total volume which we have to work. Okay, 10 meter cube is the total volume that we have to work. Then what is the meter cube of one? What is the volume of one brick? One brick including mortar. Okay, one brick including mortar is 10 into 10 into 20. Right, 10 into 10 into 20. So divide 10 meter cube by the volume of one brick. Okay, divide the volume that we are going to construct by the volume of one brick. You will get the number of bricks including mortar. Okay, including mortar, that is 5,000. So we have got 5,000 number of bricks which are required. Okay. Now size of bricks without mortar. Without mortar, what is the size of brick without mortar? Or this is what? This is nothing but mortar quantity. Okay, so this is the size of bricks without mortar, or it is nothing but the mortar volume which we are going to calculate. So 10 meter cube is the material, is the total work which you are going to do, minus if you do the brickwork, the brickwork without mortar, if you do, you will get the mortar, right? You will get the quantity of mortar that is required. So how do you arrive at this? So total number of bricks are 5,000, right? 5,000 number of bricks multiply by the volume of one brick. Volume of one brick without mortar. Volume of one brick without mortar, I've told you it is 9 by 9 by 19, right? So 0.9 by 0.9 divided by what? You multiply by 0.19. Okay, so if you do this, you will get the amount of or the volume of mortar that is required in meter cube. 2.3 is the volume of mortar that is required in meter cube. Okay, so we have calculated the number of bricks. We have calculated the mortar quantity that is required. Okay, the mortar quantity that is required. So add 15% extra. Why do we add this 15% extra? Because this particular brick will be having a frog like this. You have seen a rhombus which is there on the top of the brick, right? There is some indentation on your brick in this format. It may be of different shape, okay, but usually it is in this form. So this is your frog which is there, and it is some depth, right? It is indented on your brick, right? So to fill this particular volume, right, we take 15% extra because we have to fill this particular frog also. We have to fill this frog. So to fill this frog, we are taking 15% extra also for wastages. Okay, some wastages we have to consider. So totally 15% extra. So 2.3 multiply what? 2.3 by 2.3 multiply by 15%, meaning 1.15. Okay, you will get 2.64 is the quantity of mortar. 2.64 is the quantity of mortar. Now, add one third. We have to add 1/3 extra because this is the wet quantity. Now, if you want the dry quantity of mortar, the dry constituents, if you want to calculate, multiply this by 1/3. 1/3 of the, add 1/3, okay, add 1/3. Do not multiply by 1/3, add 1/3. Meaning you have to add 1/3 is what? 1/3 of 2.64. You have to add to the original 2.64. What you have to add? Okay, 1/3 quantity of 2.64 you have to add to the initial quantity. You will get it as 3.5 cubic meter of what? Mortar. So the first thing you have to take care, what you have to do, you have to add 15% as wastages and 15% as frog filling, and then 1/3 extra you have to add for what? For dry volume, converting it to dry volume. So the total volume of mortar that we require now is what? 3.5. Okay, now in this mortar, what we have in this mortar, we have cement and we have sand, right? We have cement and we have sand. So now what we have to do, we have to calculate the cement and sand quantities, right? So we have learned how to calculate cement and sand quantities, right? So this is your meter cube divided by what? The summation of your ratio. Summation of ratio is what? 4 plus 1. So summation of ratio is 5. 3.5 divided by 5, you will get in cubic meters. Divide this 0.7, right? Divide the 0.7 by 0.347, that you will get in bags. So 21 number of bags is what? Is the quantity of cement that is required. Okay, 21 number of bags. No problem. Now sand, for sand, 0.7 multiply by the proportion, that is 4. So multiply by 4, you will get in cubic meters the quantity of sand that is required. Okay, we are done with sand quantity, we are done with cement quantity. Okay, sand and cement quantity we have calculated. Now also we have calculated what? The number of bricks that are required. No problem. So that now we can write down number of bricks, 5,000. Okay.
Sir,
Yes.
divided by the constant 0.0347.
Yes, this. Okay.
How we get that constant, sir?
Okay. This is what? This is your sand cubic meter quantity. 0.7 is what? 0.7 is the quantity of cement that is required. Okay, this is the quantity of cement. But usually cement we order in terms of bags, right? We want the number of bags. Okay, number of bags. So this is in meter cube. Okay, we know that 50 kilos of cement is in one bag of cement. We have how many kilos? We have 50. So we have converted this 50 to cubic meters, meter cube. Okay, so one bag of cement will have how much? 0.0347 of meter cube cement. Okay, 50 kilos we have converted it to meter cube. So one bag of cement will have 0.347 meter cube of cement. Okay, so 1.347 meter cube of cement. So 0.7 is the required cement quantity. Divide that by the one bag volume, that is 0.347. You will get the total number of bags that are required. So 21 number of bags of cement are required, because we usually order cement in terms of bags, right? So we have converted the kgs to meter cube, that is 0.347 is the standard value, right? Because one bag of cement is of 50 kilos. Convert this kilos to meter cube. How do you convert this kilo to meter cube? Divide 50 by the density of cement. Density of cement is 1440. This value is what? 0.0347. Okay, so this divide here, you will get the number of bags of cement. Is it clear? Have you understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Moving on. So bricks, sand, cement, all those things you can write. Scaffolding, if it is working in higher elevation, you can add scaffolding in lump sum. Okay, and you know how to add the masons and all the types of masons and their quantities. We know how to multiply, right? We can write down and we can calculate the total rate. Total, divide that by the 10, right, which we had assumed initially 10 cubic meters, right? 10 cubic meters. So this is the rate which we have got in cubic meters. Okay, 5,426 rupees per cubic meter is the rate for brickwork. It is the rate for brickwork in superstructure, also in where? Okay. So in superstructure and in ground floor. Okay, if you are working in superstructure, you have to add scaffolding, right? We have added scaffolding, and if you are not working in superstructure, you can do not add this scaffolding. You can only add if you are only working in ground floor, no need of scaffolding. Okay, so this is regarding brickwork. Similarly, you can do this particular numerical wherein we have one.
The time is over.
Okay. So we are not calculating. I'll just explain what you have to do. So here you can see the ratio is only what is changing. Okay, in the previous problem is 1:4. Here it is 1:6. So you can solve this, no problem. Same calculations you can do and you can solve. Okay. So in this, this particular thing we will do later on. Okay, here we are dealing with half brick. Okay, half brick we are dealing with in this particular numerical. In the previous, we are dealing with what we are doing in meter cube, right? We are dealing in meter cube, right? 10 meter cube we had assumed, but here we are dealing with construction of half brick. Okay, wall is of thickness what? Half brick thick. So we cannot consider 10 meter cube. 10 meter cube cannot be considered. We have to assume 100 square meters. 100 square meters. So why have we taken 100 square meters, or why are we not considering meter cube? Because the thickness is already mentioned. 10 centimeter thick brick wall. 10 centimeter thick brick wall. So once in the specification, if they mention the thickness, okay, if they mention the thickness in specification, do not consider that particular dimension in calculation. Do not consider this calculation. Do not consider this dimension. So if we neglect the thickness, we are left out with what? We are left out with the surface area, right? Hence, we are considering the surface area as 100 square meters. Okay, not 10. We will consider as 100 square meters as the assumption, and we will calculate the remaining things as the same. Okay, so we will look into this numerical in your next class. Okay, half brick thick. I hope you have understood whatever we have calculated today. We have calculated centering. We have calculated concrete quantities, right? Concrete. We have calculated steel reinforcement quantities. We have learned how to calculate the quantities of shuttering in shuttering and centering for timber formwork, for steel formwork, and we have learned how to calculate the how to do the rate analysis for brickwork. Okay, so this is what we have learned today. I hope you have understood. If you have any doubt, you can let me know. Okay, So you can type your attendance. Meanwhile, if anyone is having any doubt, you can let me know. Do not leave the session. Stay in the session after you type in your attendance. Everyone type in your attendance and wait. We have some few instructions which I have to give to you. Okay, has everyone given their attendance? Everyone has given their attendance. I can stop the recording. Quickly, everyone give their attendance.